Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're hopping right back into our life. Last we left off, we were talking with Derek at a sleepover. So without further ado, let's hop in. Derek made a valiant attempt to nod along from his lopsided position. It's pretty fun some of the time. Do you ever wish you had a big sibling? How does it feel to be the oldest? Would you want more or fewer siblings? Big sibling. His gaze trailed away from yours for the first time so he couldn't stare at the tent ceiling. I don't think so. Maybe I've never needed a big sibling to look up to because I already had someone for that, my dad. Oh, that makes sense. The air in the near complete darkness had felt warm and comfortable, but the atmosphere began to change. It was too subtle to say exactly why, but enough for you to notice. Airy? Derek reversed his position again, getting on his stomach. His arms were crossed over the floor in front of him. The rest of his cheeks, uh, rested his cheeks down against them. Derek's eyes were on the ground too.
Is it annoying?
Would it be weird to ask if you're having fun? No, it wouldn't be weird. Too late. You've already made it weird. I'm having fun. You having fun? Why are you asking? Looking incredulously. No, it wouldn't be weird. Yeah, that's cool. He clicked his heels together in rhythmic soft taps and rustling of the blanket. One, then two, then three, four, in quick succession. Repeated again. Derek mumbled into his forearms. I was just really hoping this would be a nice time. It's nothing. But Derek sprung up on his palms, bringing his head up to your level and beaming directly at you. Have you watched anything cool recently? George and I have been showing Nick's a lot of great stuff he couldn't see before because he was too little when they came out. He kicked the ball in a new direction that had too high of a defense for you to maneuver it back, but that was all right. You could talk to Derek about anything. You and Derek continued to bounce from topic to topic. You quietly spoke throughout the air while hidden away from the rest of the world in your camp. It went on throughout the night until before you realized it, your eyes were opening in the morning sunlight. There was no peace in Derek's household. It's morning. After giving his war cry, Nicholas prowled from his room and catapulted himself into the tent. Derek wrestled with Nicholas on the blanket. It's a tickle fight. It was a memorable way to begin the day. For breakfast, there was a cupboard full of different cereals and instant oatmeal packets to choose from, plus fruits, berries, and nuts to top it with if you wanted. Each bowl was prepared for its owner's specifications, either by themselves or by Miss Suarez for the too little to reach everything. You got. I love chocolate cereal. I have a problem. And yeah, that's all. Derek chuckled, blowing. I don't really like anything in chocolate cereal, and I especially don't like nuts. And the only nut I like is peanuts, and I only like it as peanut butter. I don't like nuts. Derek chuckled, blowing on the steam of his freshly cooked oatmeal. I'm glad someone's using that. You checked, and he was right. Every Schwartz had chosen oatmeal that morning. Stirring her own hot bowl of oats, Miss Schwartz joined the conversation. Dad eats it, and Derek's mom leaned over the edge of the marble counter so she could whisper to you. So does Nico as a snack when Derek isn't home. Oh. You glanced down the hallway, expecting Derek's dad to come join in the family soon, but Miss Schwartz let you know how Mr. Schwartz very sneakily went past you a couple hours ago while you were sleeping. Derek swallowed a spoonful of peach oatmeal with blueberries to note how his dad had to commute. Derek's mom nodded before moving the conversation forward. I'll take you home in the evening. The younger ones can stay with Mr. Schwartz then. You'll have a peaceful ride. Your moms know it'll be a little late. We worked it out yesterday while you were packing. And I'll be out running errands until then. I'll bring the kids. You two can enjoy your time however you choose.
Is that fine?
Is that fine? Derek stuck his spoon towards the ceiling and gave you a thumbs up from his bar stool. It's peachy. Derek put his other fist on the counter, double thumbs up. Soon you learned another new thing about Derek's family. His dad commuted very early, and all hands were tasked with cleaning up, whether they were guests or not. The five of you made quick work of breakfast. Then Miss Suarez, with some more assistance from Derek, corralled George and Nicholas into the minivan to act as helpers during the daily task. George could properly fulfill that role, while Nicholas was more of an honorary helper who still needed more support than he gave. The title was still exciting enough for him to release Derek for 1 minute so he could be strapped into his car seat for the drive. From one job to another, you and Derek were left alone to put the living room back into its proper order. First, your belongings were collected and put aside to make sure nothing got mixed in with the other supplies. The blankets were stuffed back into Derek's room and the spare closet, and any loose marshmallows that were discovered to have escaped being devoured and ended up on the floor were thrown in the trash. Your campsite became a hollow shell of what it once was. It had ended so quick, but a short adventure in the great outdoors of the Suarez living room was better than none. It was still a minor miracle that you got to come. You didn't forget that. Lastly, the two of you worked as a team to break down the tent itself. You slipped out each of the poles and retracted them to their smaller size and began to get them packed away into the sturdy bag they came from the night before. While folding up one of the legs, Derek lightheartedly chatted with you.
Oh man.
I'm so excited. The whole day we can do anything before you've got to go. Walk to the park, watch a movie, get some food somewhere. He hummed along with a bounce in his pose. He was having plenty of fun just doing regular chores with you. The good mood was infectious. It's great. I was just thinking about how I was surprised my mom let me come today. Out of nowhere, Derek twitched like he was hit by a bolt. His hands flipped over protectively with the pole fumbled out of his grasp. It clattered against the wooden floor, and a sharp sound made Derek wince. He gave a meekly apology while the leg rolled back against his sneaker just as pitifully. Sorry. Derek bent his knees and gripped at his shirt's edge on the way down before he reached out to pick up what he dropped. What were you saying? That was pretty off. You didn't miss the blaring sign completely with warning sound that something was up, but he obviously wasn't comfortable, so he tried to let it go. I was just talking about my mom's. Usually they're really strict about sleepovers. I can't do it out of nowhere. It's a planning thing. But having it be a camp out in the living room must have helped a lot. You gave a bit of a shrug and scanned around for another piece to put away. I'm going to have to keep that trick in mind. Oh yeah, that makes sense. They are like that. Derek fiddled uselessly with the dark gray rubber foot at the end of the pole. He was pretending to keep busy. You wondered if he remembered if you were supposed to be busy with. It wasn't going away whether you ignored it or not. Did you think they didn't like you or that I meant something else?
No.
No, forget it. It's dumb and doesn't matter. He threw the words at you. It was final and way harsher than you expected from Derek. The sharp edge of it wasn't for you. That part was directed towards himself. You'd never slept over at his house before. You'd been guessed for what might have been a little awkward. There was clearly more to it. You frowned. I don't care if it's dumb. I want to know. His brows angled at the same time. A tight bend formed at the tent leg. The way he twisted it between his hands was too much for the thin piece of pole. He didn't say a word. You can always talk to me about anything you know. He spoke comfortably. Derek, this isn't funny. Tell me what's happening, he said firmly. He gave him an encouraging smile. You stared impatiently, tapping your foot to express frustration. We're comforting. He sealed his eyes tight and dropped a leg on purpose this time. Despite all the effort it took him to ask you to come in the first place, that paled in comparison. Suddenly, it seemed like he wished you were anywhere but there. I can't tell you. Derek's voice was an impotent whisper. You'll think I'm the most annoying guy in the world. I am the most annoying guy in the world. It was such a bad idea. I was sneaky and judgy. I shouldn't have bugged you, but I already did. It's too late. Derek's posture pulled closer and closer together. He spoke, fist tapping against the front of his chest and his knees bent inward. The pressure building inside was exerting a real force on him. What if you don't want to be friends anymore? The last part almost disappeared before you had a chance to hear it look small and lost. I'll always be your friend? That's never going to happen. Derek, please, I don't want you to feel bad. I just don't understand what's wrong. All right, seriously, now spit it out. Your reassurance flipped to annoyance. I'll always be your friend. The tension kept compounding, causing cracks where more words could slip through.
Well,
I had a reason why I invited you when I did, why it needed to be now. Yes? Even though his eyes creaked open, Derek wasn't looking at you, but finally he sucked in a breath and took the plunge. Ari, today is Father's Day. Your jaw dropped. You had completely forgotten that was today. You knew what day it was, but couldn't have guessed that was Derek's motivation. We have two moms. We forgot. You could put it together immediately, and though you were still stunned, you could put it into words. You thought I was going to be sad because it's Father's Day and I don't have a dad? Derek lowered his head and pressed his shoulders up to his ears, trying to hide from the sound of it. Well, I wasn't thinking for sure that you'd be sad. I didn't know how you were going to feel about any of it, and that's what was chewing at me. Derek poured out words one after another, trying to explain himself, and the conflicting feelings had bottled up the entire time the floodgates had been opened. It's not like I was around last year when this happened. I couldn't help wondering if it was a normal thing or a good time or a low point or whatever. But I don't live in Sunset Bird and I can't walk over like it's nothing to check. I had come up with some other dumb way to be around. Derek's speaking pace slowed, but his blinking picked up speed. His rapid flow of words went from explanation to admonishment. It was enough for him to choke on. But that's stupid because if you actually wanted me to be anywhere near you today, you could have asked yourself. Your moms are great, better than most dads, and you've got Elizabeth too.
Sorry.
I shouldn't have made a whole big thing out of it because I made stuff up in my head. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. And then it went bone dry into silence. Derek dropped his arms to the side in defeat. He could only look at you out of the corner of his eyes. He was such a sweet guy. Poor kid. He's serious about something like this. Derek had been trying to look out for you. The realization made you grateful. You shifted uncomfortably under his gaze. It wasn't something you asked for. It was infuriating that he'd butt into your family. Knowing Derek viewed things the way was strange. You weren't sure how to feel. He was sweet or grateful. Sweet. You laughed. You teared up. You covered your face with hands, hugged them. You gave him a friendly punch. Hug. It just happened instinctively. You wrapped your arms around his shoulders. Derek, caution turned to confusion. Airy? His breath tickled your neck. After an extra squeeze, you let him go. You're really cute, Derek. That's not dumb. Thank you. I'm lucky to have someone like you. I'd never hate you for worrying about you. Smiled at him with all the warmth you could muster. Lucky. Really? You're not going to tell me to call your moms to come get you and walk out the door, never talk to me again? That's what you thought was going to happen?
Maybe?
Maybe. I figured you'd at least say I'm a pain. All right, you're a pain. Happy. It's done. Derek crumbled over, gripping his hands against his legs, releasing a massive sigh, and he'd finished the marathon. Wow, okay. Okay, I'm sorry still. I should have asked you instead of creepily making you come to my house so I could watch and see if maybe I could figure it out without having a normal conversation. That would have worked too. The emotional exhaustion from carrying that stress on his back really had taken its toll. Derek crouched completely and plopped on the floor. You eased down to sit next to him. He tucked his legs up against his chest and tapped the top of his knees shyly, and was the last kid waiting to be picked up for a team on the playground, and you were the captain who included him. Would you want to talk now? I think that'd be good. A ghost of a smile appeared on Derek's face. It didn't compare to the ear-to-ear grin you were used to, but it was enough to make everything feel a little more normal, a little more right. Honestly, Derek, I forgot it was even Father's Day. We don't celebrate it, and it doesn't matter to me at all.
What?
You did? Derek smacked his head against his legs, humiliated, but you could hear a few chuckles, and you could see the way the laughter made his shoulders shake. I really dropped the ball, huh? I was driving myself crazy for nothing. That's not true. It's nice that you cared. I know I have someone who really worries about me. That's pretty special. Derek's face tilted over the side, just enough for you to see the redness tinting his cheeks. Look at this man blush. Absolutely the most adorable thing in the world. I mean, you really... I don't know why. It's so adorable. And I don't know. It's just perfect, you know? Derek's face tilted over to the side just enough for you to see the redness tinting his cheeks. Thanks, Ari. Derek waited there on the floor, silently curled up in a ball, If there was more you needed to tell him, he wasn't going to miss it. Damn. What is it like having a dad? Is it different to how it is like with your mom? I hope doing this didn't ruin your own Father's Day celebration. I'm glad I've got two moms. I wish I had a dad like yours. We only sat there. Let's ask. Oh, his parents weren't here, but his gaze automatically went to the hall that led to Mr. and Mrs. Suarez's room. He had no idea what was on his mind, so you needed to wait for him to say it. Derek ultimately shrugged one shoulder and tilted his head back at you. It's kind of different. My mom is really a mom and my dad is a dad. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Can you elaborate on that one? You blinked at him incredulously. Okay, thanks. Can you please elaborate? Sorry. He scratched his ear. Derek heard the way his own words sounded just as well as you did. I think what I mean is like, mom is nice because she loves me. I love her. It's great. And we can just be together. And it's like, I don't have to grow up so fast. It's okay the way it is. It's not exactly how it is with dad because I want to be like my dad and I'm not. I want to get mature and responsible and do more. I don't feel like I'm good enough when I've got to compare myself to him. Derek blinked and caught himself losing track of the topic. It was going where it wasn't supposed to be, and Derek put a stop to it. But it's not bad. It isn't like he's trying to make me feel that way. He pushed a couple inches off the ground using his heels and tipped backwards a bit, then fell into place again. Derek looked like a tiny, rocketing horse. A slight grin cracked open between his lips as he swayed. And I bet a lot of kids don't have that kind of thing about their dad. They want to be like their mom or they're both their moms. Interesting. I don't get it. Thanks for trying to explain it to me. I think you're already good. Good luck with your goals. You simply nodded. He's already good. Thanks, Ari. I want to be like my mom. I want to be like my mom. I want to be like both moms. I want to be like me. You smiled. You shrugged. I want to be me. I think that's perfect. Derek's words then slashed and stumbled. He squinted his eyes as if looking at you was blinding. It was the way he spoke when forcing himself to confess something he wasn't planning on admitting. Also, well, Ari, since we're talking about mom and dad, I want to tell you they do kind of know why I wanted you to come over. I didn't tell them exactly, but yesterday they somehow figured out I was worrying, and before I could do something to stop it, they put it all together. I don't know how parents do that. They wanted to help me help you if you needed it, but they didn't have any idea that I was just being nosy and you didn't give me any real reason to worry. I understand. It's hard to pretend something is nothing when it's not, and it's really important to you. It was, for sure. Thanks. I hope doing this didn't ruin your own Father's Day. I'm glad I got two moms. I wish I had a dad like yours. I hope it didn't ruin his. No way! He slapped a palm against the hardwood floor. That made the outburst even more startling. Derek stared at you with complete seriousness. All he'd want is getting a card sometimes, and my bros might get him a little kid kind of gift, a flower from the park, or a Lego guy or something. You being here too is for sure not going to ruin it. Don't worry about that. Dad only wants to party all day on birthdays, but you could still come to those anyway. That's good. Nothing would have made you feel worse than having Derek throw away his and his family celebration to try and give you one. But it was easy to believe what he said. He wasn't placating you. Derek wasn't a liar, even if sometimes he didn't tell you every thought and feeling in his head. I'm glad I got two moms. I love them. Definitely. I get that they're really good. That was an understatement. Your moms were some of the best people in the world. Mentioning them took you right back to the fun times you had with your family. My moms are happy sharing Mother's Day with each other for the parent-based holiday. Though one time mom joked about how they could switch off. One could have the actual Mother's Day to herself. The other could make Father's Day the other Mother's Day. Despite Derek's lingering awkwardness, mom jokes still pulled some snicker from him. He would have been thrilled to know that. She would have been thrilled to know that. That compromise. Mom is so funny. Really, what a missed opportunity to not actually do it. Mama's funny. Totally. But that's why we've never done anything for today. I wish my dad was in my life more. We're gonna. If Rue grew deep on Derek's brow for a moment, he couldn't face you. But when he spoke, there wasn't any hardness in his words. They spread over you with a warm, fuzzy blanket. Well, secretly, I'm pretty sure Dad always wanted an even four set of kids. There's still a spot open. Maybe I'll take you up on that. Sign me up, thanks. Sorry, I'm not sure I could handle three new brothers. You teased. Derek offer made you happy. Maybe we'll take him up on that. The offer's always open. Derek hugged his legs and pressed his chin against the top of his knees. He had a heart-melting, hopeful smile on his face. Oh, hey, why don't you do something for my dad? You could give him a gift or just wish him a good Father's Day when he gets back from work. We've got the whole afternoon before you're gonna leave. It'd work out, and I know Dad would love it. I have to think about it. Didn't say anything else. Your thoughts drifted away from Derek and even from you. They floated across the condo and out the window and off into the vast summer sky. As the silence settled between you and Derek, plucked at his shoelaces and chewed the inside of his cheek uncomfortably. When you felt the need to fix everything or make it all better, it was a major hitch when it was not your problem to solve. The air conditioner whirled in the background, your fuzzy feeling mind. Eyes you could picture your mom and your sibling and your big sister. Then your brain and your body suddenly snapped together all into focus. Wait, what about Elizabeth? The mention of her name got the same instant reaction from Derek that you just experienced. His eyebrows lifted, and his mouth opened, soundlessly a small O. She acts like she's over everything, but I think I remembered back when we were kids, she would get mad on Father's Day. Maybe that's why she was so aggressive yesterday. She didn't have friends who were coming over or anything, and Mom's had to work, and now I'm gone too. Derek looked hard at the front door. He was expecting her to walk through it, or was he planning on running over to Sunset Bird to check? You had no idea. Shoot, I thought there might have been a chance of that. It worried you. She was totally alone. You were so upset you were stuck here. That was a horrible realization. You abandoned your sister. You tried to consider the possibility as best you could with what you knew. Shrugged it off. It was her problem. Try to consider the possibilities as best you could with what you knew. Hey, we could call her. I'll do it if you feel weird about it. I guess I'll call her. If you want to call her, you can, but I'm not. You'd actually do that? You gave a slight nod. I guess I'll call her. Cool. Derek unfurled himself, got off the floor, and trotted to the hallway with purpose. Mounted right where the living room narrowed into the hallway, set against the front wall, was an off-white telephone. The phone at your house was wireless. Derek had an elastic loop line that kept the receiver from going more than a couple feet from its base. The visions of Nicholas launching a cordless phone into the air purely for his own entertainment made their way across your mind. The option the Swarrs went with was the most practical for their family. Your siblings, however, would throw a fit if she couldn't chat with her gal pals in private. Elizabeth, you wondered what she was thinking about right now. But you wouldn't have to imagine for much longer. Derek didn't waste any time taking the receiver off the hook. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to hit like and subscribe. That way YouTube tells you when the next one comes out, because obviously, if you made it this far, you liked it, so why not come back and watch the next one? I hope you have a good day. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.